All right, this is not a pursuit though, right? Yeah. I think we should get on the other side. What do you think? Let's get on the other. Yeah. Hey there, Alan. We are tracking a California highway. Currently has this Kia Soul under surveillance mode. You can see him using that shoulder to get around some of the traffic here. He's been driving on the freeway here. He's been a little bit squirrely, jumping in and out of sheriff's jurisdictions and other jurisdictions as well. However, other agencies have declined to take over this pursuit. Right now, California Highway Patrol doesn't have any units on the ground behind him, just the airship tracking from above, but you can see him using that right shoulder and driving much faster now in the last few minutes as he continues this joyride. Again, it's a stolen vehicle. It looks like there might be somebody. Well, I can't see that passenger seat, but you can clearly see the driver moving around in there, and he has just, I think, gotten off the freeway. Yeah, this is pivotal. We're going to see here how the driving continues, and there he goes, right through a red light. Gives you a sense of the behavior here, because for a long time he was really not breaking many traffic laws. He was basically doing about the speed limit, and now he's really amped things up. He's been, again, using that right shoulder on the freeway. Now he's running red lights on surface streets. Another red light going right through the crosswalk here. Again, no regard for anybody's safety. He is traveling along Hawthorne Boulevard here in Inglewood as he continues in the westbound direction along Hawthorne Boulevard here. You can see him doing about 50 miles per hour, about 10 miles over the speed limit here. Another red light with a little bit of traffic, and we'll see if he jumps the curb or tries to run this red light. You can see him right behind that black vehicle in the right turn lane. What's concerning, guys, is that he's starting to drive more dangerously here without anybody behind him. Right now, there's very little pressure on this suspect. There's no law enforcement anywhere near him as far as we could tell. And as far as we could tell, there really isn't an effort to get anybody near him. They're basically tracking his movements in case this is escalated again to a more dangerous situation. Right now we're seeing some of that dangerous driving, so that may come into play as they decide what. Look at that, another cross traffic there. You just missed that pickup truck and a red light there, and continuing to blow through these red lights along Hawthorne Boulevard here. So this may play into the calculus as California Highway Patrol and the Sheriff's Department decide what they want to do here. Now we are in sheriff's territory, coming into a shopping center here. He's been through several parking lots during the course of this pursuit. Now he is in front of, I believe that was a grocery store, and now he's making a left turn into the Target area. You can see pedestrians in that parking lot there, just using that parking lot to cut through onto Rosecrans Avenue. Looked empty. Yeah, no, it looked empty as far as we could tell now. Just the driver behind the wheel here as he starts to make his way through Inglewood, again, actually Lawndale. He's just off of Rosecrans on Washington Avenue now. These are much narrower streets. The speed limit is no more than 25 to 30 miles per hour here, and you can see him still driving even more recklessly than before if you consider the variables here. So I would imagine we may start to see some black and whites show up here. But right now, again, as far as we can tell, only that helicopter up above tracking his movements, calling out the location, trying to get the attention of one of these agencies to participate in this pursuit. Again, he has been in and out of numerous jurisdictions, and everybody has basically declined to participate. They just haven't shown a big interest in getting this guy off the road. So right now, LA County Sheriff has handed the aerial duties off to California Highway Patrol, and their helicopter is monitoring his movements, maybe just to wait for him to come to a stop, and then they could, figure out, what they want to do next. But again, without anybody on the ground there, it's anybody's guess as to whether he's going to get away or not. It's very easy for him to walk away from this pursuit if he just slows down, starts obeying some of the rules, or just parks the car, because really there's nobody around him. Oncoming lanes of traffic, yep. Yeah. Things have really escalated since we gotten off the freeway. Just you can see all the red lights that we've run here and all of the stop signs going into oncoming lanes of traffic. It's becoming a more serious situation by the minute here. So we'll have to wait and see if they change their mind, if any of these jurisdictions change their mind. But at the rate he's going, somebody is destined to get hurt here. He's basically enjoying the ride. It's not his car. Every indication is that this is a stolen vehicle. Nobody in the passenger seat, probably nobody in the back either, but we don't know that for sure either. You can see pretty heavily tinted windows. It is a white Kia Soul just kind of zigzagging through Hawthorne here, trying to, maybe he's aware of the helicopter, maybe not. Maybe he's tracking this online. That's always a possibility. But other than that, you can see he's doing about 50 miles per hour down surface streets. So, again, if he continues this dangerous driving, it really, sorry, stand by, guys. It just really, it's scary. Ooh. Over onto Imperial Highway, you can see him cutting off that cross traffic. A really wild move right there as he makes his way now westbound on Imperial Highway. He's paralleling the 105 freeway here. We'll see if he finds an opportunity to get on the freeway. No, he's going to a McDonald's parking lot. Another parking lot. No real reason to cut through here. He had Imperial Highway basically to himself, coming around the wrong way through the drive-through to come out onto Hawthorne Boulevard, now northbound Hawthorne Boulevard here, as he continues to meander through here. Again, to your point, David, these all really appear to be last-minute random decisions. And look at him just weaving across these surface streets. He's not getting away from anybody. He's just, creating a hazard for himself and for everybody around him. But there's really no pressure on him. You can't overestimate just how reckless this is and how senseless it is, because there's just nobody that's really a threat to him, again, unless he's putting on a show for somebody else. If he's streaming this, or if he's enjoying tracking himself online, you just don't know what is the mental capacity of this driver. Exactly right. Now making a right turn, high speeds into oncoming lanes of traffic down Lenox Boulevard, and now he's really ramping things up here through the LAX area. He's actually traveling away from LAX. We're going to cross over the freeway here in just a minute, but you can see him now speeding, going the wrong way on Lenox Boulevard. If you widen out, you can see there's nobody coming in his direction, but that could change on a dime here. Now coming southbound Prairie off of Lenox, around all of that traffic at 108th Street, continuing now southbound on Prairie Avenue. Now he's doing a circle in this area. He's going to complete a giant loop as he approaches the 105 freeway. He's going to come back towards Imperial Highway. Once again, as you can see him coming back towards us, we are looking north. He's traveling southbound along Prairie Avenue, and you now see the windshield wipers coming on. So what's going on in his head is really an open question mark. Is he under the influence? Is he, what is going on here? Because nothing here is making any sense. Look at these wild right turns. I'm sorry, that was a left turn, a wild left turn there for no reason at all. And that helicopter right there is the only law enforcement that has eyes on this suspect. Inches. Oh!
Long way, almost, boy, almost ran into that car.
Yeah, oncoming lanes there. You see almost a head-on collision there for a second. Now he's back onto Yukon Avenue, going back in the northbound direction. And this is getting scarier by the minute. You have no idea what is going through his head. We see a lot of random decisions being made here for no good reason whatsoever. And I can't believe that we aren't seeing any. Look at that. Just a really close call there, at least the third or fourth close call in the last couple of minutes here. There's a bicyclist about to cross over 111th there. He's continuing northbound Yukon through that red light. Now he's just really not obeying any of these signs, lights. Forget about it. He is off. I mean, he is off on his own here. He's really... This is just so scary because I can't remember a pursuit where we've seen such reckless driving without any law enforcement even posing a threat to pull him over. I mean, it's so senseless that you just can't imagine why he'd be, doing this. I mean, he's going to get himself hurt.
You don't see any units anywhere near there. I mean, I don't see any. So it doesn't look like they're even kind of staging to prepare to take this guy down. So he's just flat out there all by himself. Look at that.
Yeah, exactly right. Approaching Century Boulevard there, northbound Yukon, through another red light there. Approaching Century, he's right by SoFi Stadium. He's back in the correct lanes of traffic, but you can see this Friday afternoon, all of the pedestrians that we have seen out and about. It's a beautiful afternoon, and it's just shy of rush hour. You can see he's got this road to himself, but traffic is going to pick up here if he decides to get on the freeway. In fact, even on the 405, he was encountering a little bit of traffic, and that may be why he decided to pull off. Now he's pulling off of Century Boulevard, back southbound, off of Century, back onto Yukon Avenue. If they had units in the area, you can imagine a scenario where that might even be the same target. He might even be, he's in the same target. No, that's a Costco. It's a different shopping center. But not far. He's close to that target. He's now in a Costco shopping center. And if they had units in the area, it's a great opportunity to set up for a spike strip. But look at this wild driving through the packed parking lot, I should say, with lots of people walking around. You can see him trying to come out the other side here. He's going to end up back on Yukon. He's doing a circle around this Costco parking lot. Look at that, over the curb, jumping the curb, through the bush there, and now back onto surface streets, coming out onto Yukon Avenue, guys.
It's almost illogical, the way he's driving right now, because nobody's pursuing him, yet he's jumping a curb, going over a bush, flying through a Costco parking lot with lots of pedestrians all over the place. It's almost like somebody's right on his tail, but nobody is there. He's all by himself. It's really incredible to watch his recklessness, and that's one of those things. I wonder what you have to contemplate in order to decide whether to bring this guy, to try to arrest this guy, because it's so dangerous.
I mean, after a while, you have no choice. There was a clear decision made earlier on, especially by the sheriff's department, to just let this go. Besides the fact that they knew it was a stolen vehicle, he really wasn't driving that unsafe. And that all changed in the last 10 minutes. We are watching an entirely different pursuit than how this all started. It was a pursuit under the LAPD jurisdiction for a short time, and then they handed it off to the Sheriff's Department. Sheriff's Department helicopter was watching this guy for a while, and eventually they decided, you know what? This is just not worth it. They handed it off to the CHP to watch from above. This has been in surveillance mode this entire time that we have been on the air. This was in pursuit mode at one point by LAPD, but that is at least a half hour ago. And now we are watching, again, a much more dangerous situation as he tries to weave through traffic here all of these drivers that you see on this busy Crenshaw Boulevard are unsuspecting of what's coming up behind them. Look at this. He is really threading the needle here, coming so close, within inches of some of these innocent motorists, and all for what? For nothing. The big question here is why? Why is he doing this, and why is he continuing this joyride? You know, you just can't get into the head of some of these guys. You can speculate all you want, but sometimes there really is just no rationale for what we're seeing here.
Chris, it is hard to watch this because we know so many people are being put in danger. This is Giovanna Latta, Eyewitness News at 5 p.m. starting now. I'm still alongside David Ono. And I've been watching this and watching your coverage of this, Chris and David, and wow, this guy is really dangerous.
Look at the speed.
Desperate to get away.
But where is he going? And who is he running from? That's what makes it so intriguing. He's so dangerous to himself and everybody else, yet nobody is on his tail. I mean, you wonder, he could probably just stop the car and walk away. Nobody is around to arrest him, but he's not doing that.
Right. That's exactly right. He could absolutely walk away from this if he wanted to, but instead, the moves he's pulling, it's almost as if he's living out some video game fantasy. I mean, that's what this is like. I mean, look at the speeds he's doing. He's doing about 65 miles per hour down 108th Street here in South LA. We are in Inglewood, and he is driving like a madman through these very narrow surface streets, coming very close to oncoming traffic here, all for nothing. I mean, really, there's just I can't make any sense out of this, but he must be having the time of his life because he is continuing to make really erratic moves for no apparent reason whatsoever.
Yeah, we often skirt by. We see these pursuits that are so dangerous. We always at the end of it say it's remarkable that nobody got hurt, that person didn't create more damage or you know, casualties than often happen. But one of these days, we're not going to say that this could be it. If this guy continues to drive the way he's driving, flying through red lights, wrong side of the road, stop signs, in the middle of rush hour, the time is limited on him surviving this and the community surviving this. Something tragic is going to happen.
The longer it goes, the risk just increases. And we do have some video of some of the close calls from this pursuit. I don't know if that's ready for us to share with our viewers, but there have been several close calls.
Look at this.
As you mentioned, he was running stop signs, just that right there, driving against traffic, weaving in and out of lanes. Do we have that video ready yet? No. It's coming, apparently. And David, maybe
David and Giovanna, you know, this really highlights the catch-22 that law enforcement is faced with here, because the reason they don't continue the pursuit, the reason they pull back and they decide to let some of these guys go is because of the dangerous nature, because of the liability that they are faced with. If somebody gets hurt, there's a major lawsuit, and all of a sudden the department has to spill out millions of dollars. On the other hand, when they pull back and the driving continues at this dangerous pace, they have no choice but to get involved, and then again the likelihood of somebody getting hurt goes up dramatically. Either way, it is such a dangerous game of cat and mouse that they don't want to play if they don't have to play it, but in a situation like this, sometimes they're left with no choice. And that's what we're seeing here, where you have multiple law enforcement agencies that are looking at this, weighing out the pros and the cons, and trying to figure out, is it worth it? Is it worth it to the pedestrians and the motorists on the road there? Is it worth it to put the department in that liability? Or is it, you know, there's no right or wrong answer sometimes. It's really a judgment call on the part of the supervisors and the watch commanders to decide when to pursue these vehicles and when to pull back. And each agency in the metro area has a different policy, by the way. So these are not easy cut and dry decisions, but you see a driver like this with nobody behind him and the kind of driving that we're seeing, and it becomes a much scarier proposition.
And for people who are just joining us, can you explain why this pursuit, or why it was initiated in the beginning?
He made a U-turn. He's continuing southbound. So, yeah, this all started, I think, in the Compton area, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it may have started a little further north. LAPD initially tried to pull this driver over because he was wanted for GTA. This is a grand theft auto suspect. That white Kia believed to be stolen. He's made a turn onto 90th. We're going to try and track him here. We're going around LAX's airspace, so just pardon the wide shot while we try and triangulate here up the 110 freeway, trying to find the suspect as he kind of zigzags through South LA. But it started in LAPD's jurisdiction. They eventually tracked him down to the Compton, Lakewood area. Eventually, the sheriff's department took it over, and then they decided to pull back. They said, you know what, this is just not worth it. So they decided, even though it's a stolen vehicle, the driving was safe enough that he wasn't posing a major risk. They just decided it wasn't worth it. And that has changed completely in the last few minutes since we have been on the air. We are watching a much different situation play out here, such that if this continues at this pace and at these speeds with this kind of driving, somebody will get hurt. And so they're faced with an impossible decision. Again, he was going the correct way here. He's on a very narrow street here. He's now paralleling the 110 freeway, maybe looking for an opportunity to get back on the freeway. But this is one of those situations, guys, where if he's going to do anything right now, we would love to see him end up on the freeway. That would be the best case for everybody, because it's just a safer situation. You don't have pedestrians. You don't have so many other variables where somebody can, obviously people could get hurt in any, either way. Now he's under the freeway, under the 110 freeway. We'll see. He's coming out the other side. He's now coming out on the west side. He's westbound. Did he just go?
I didn't see him come out. Maybe he's stopping under the freeway.
Did he not come out? Is he still under?
He's still under.
He might be.
We've seen this
oldest trick in the book. Oldest trick in the book. If he decides to dump the vehicle under that freeway and walk out, we'll see if he comes out. There he is. There he is. He's going the wrong way. Going the wrong way. This is a surface street. This is a street that parallels the 110 freeway. It's a very narrow service street, and you can see him. He's going to come up on. He's going to be forced to make the left here. This is. There's a few dead ends over here, so if he doesn't know where he's going, he could end up locked into a cul-de-sac or something like that. He's got the window down. He's got the visor down, so you really can't see him, but he still has those windshield wipers
He's got his phone
going.
in his right
Looks like he
hand.
might be on the phone.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yes. He's holding it.
That's probably why he hasn't stopped those windshield wipers from moving, because his hands are occupied. One's on the steering wheel, the other one's on his phone. And yeah,
you
he's
might
busy.
be able to see better than me, David. Is he looking at the phone, or is he
on and off?
He looks like he's moving. I don't know if that's.
The first shot, the one where he got a good shot, he was definitely thumbing something on his phone, and trying to steer at the same time.
94th and Main Street, crossing Main, down 94th, continuing. Look at the damage there on the passenger side, and it almost makes you wonder whether that was there or whether he has done that. Most likely, I'm going to go out on a limb. This is purely a guess. Probably an impact that he made during the course of this pursuit, but for all I know, this was, again, that's not his vehicle, so we just don't know. But the driving that we've seen here, we've seen so many close calls. We just haven't made an actual visual of him actually coming in contact with any other vehicles, but he's continuing these random turns now in an entirely different neighborhood, where in the Southwest Division of LAPD's jurisdiction, just to the west of the 110 freeway, Southeast Division, I should say, Southeast, pardon me. Still, though, no sign of any black and whites, but what you do see here is a lot of people crossing the road, going about their day without any anticipation of this guy flying down these narrow streets here. Once again, crossing Avalon Boulevard with cross traffic, continuing to speed through these residential neighborhoods. And at this point, you just hope he runs out of gas at this point.
We're all on edge, Chris, right? But I did want to ask you, so no black and whites tailing him, but what about the chopper? Is there a law enforcement chopper overhead?
Yeah, California Highway Patrol still has eyes on him. They are still calling out the location, and back at dispatch, there is back at the station, somebody is watching and ready to make that decision. You have multiple jurisdictions, though. You have California Highway Patrol. They're watching this very carefully. They have a helicopter over the suspect. You also have LA County Sheriff's Department with their own decision makers at the helm. They're watching it go through their jurisdiction. And then you have LAPD, who is watching this madman drive through the streets of Southeast LA in LAPD's jurisdiction. So you have any number of agencies here on top of some of the smaller ones that we've traveled through, like Inglewood just a moment ago, where anybody can make the decision to engage with the suspect, get units in the area, try and set up for a spike strip if they have the opportunity. There you see he's rolled up that window. He's got the phone in his hand, the phone in his right hand, using his left hand to steer the vehicle, making wild, random turns, continuing as he goes over the double yellow lines here, a whole line of traffic on 92nd Street at a red light. And you can see traffic is starting to pick up here as he makes his way down, going the wrong way,
man,
going the
look at
wrong
this.
way on 92nd. Folks pulling over to make way for this guy as he continues to speed through southeast LA without anybody's safety in mind here. This is just so dangerous.
And traffic is only going to get worse. It's what, just a few minutes after 5 p.m. on a Friday? A lot more people will be hitting the roads in their cars on their commute home.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally he's found some empty roads, but overall, there's a lot of traffic out on this Friday afternoon, and you can see him occasionally encountering that traffic. And in this position, he's actually forced to stop.
Oh,
Look at him.
He's getting out.
Getting out, dumping the vehicle in the middle of the street.
Or she.
It's a woman.
It's a woman.
It's a woman jumping out of the vehicle with a backpack, now running for it, but there's nobody behind her. There's nobody behind her. She's just dumped that vehicle, a stolen Kia Soul, in the middle of the road, and now she is just going for a jog as if nothing ever happened. And without anybody in the vicinity, she could very well hide out easily if she found the right hiding spot here. But she's just going to jog up Compton Avenue here on the sidewalk. We're going to follow her each and every move here, but on foot, they have an excellent opportunity to try and get some law enforcement in the area to get this woman into custody. She is a real danger to the community, and I sure hope we see this end, with an arrest here, because she's got to be taken off the road.
Absolutely.
Well, and you would think that law enforcement is mobilized to sort of, get in there as quickly as possible. Now that if we can see her, the law enforcement shopper can.
Oh, they're
see
watching
her.
as well.
Yeah.
They're very identifiable with the white pants and the jersey shirt or whatever that is. And then she's not gonna run too fast. I mean, she's already kind of getting gassed, so you could tell she's really tired.
That's the ironic thing. That's the ironic thing about it. She thinks she's just. What is she trying to do here?
She's hitchhiking.
Stop.
A hitchhike
Come on.
turned into a carjacking.
Come
maybe?
on, really? This is unbelievable. This is out of control. I mean, what is she going to do? She has no idea how many eyes are on her. She thinks she's going for a Friday afternoon stroll down Compton Avenue. She's about to be rudely awoken here if she continues. If she tries to hitchhike or carjack somebody, this is going to take a much different turn. Look at her stopping traffic, trying to get a ride, looking at her hands, trying to beg for a ride as she continues walking up Compton. This is unbelievable. This is incredible.
This might be a first to see a pursuit suspect then get out of the car and then try to hitchhike.
Does she not hear the choppers?
Well, she's probably
she must.
She
must.
Multiple choppers but I'm so fascinated to see if
how
law
this
enforcement
ends.
decides to pick this person up, or is she just going to walk and walk and walk? Where is she from? What's her story? We just don't know.
She's had plenty of opportunities to hide. She could easily, find private property where she could hide. She's not making any attempt to hide. She's sticking with the sidewalk here, just trying to. I mean, who knows where I doubt she knows where she is, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but I
she
could be wrong. But she's really looking for a ride. I mean, she's desperate for a ride, and I just don't think she understands how many eyes are on her. But she is still continuing to try and wave down other motorists. It's not going to be long. I know it seems like it's taking forever, but there are officers on the way over here, and it seems like it's, we're mere seconds or minutes away from somebody pulling up here with lights and sirens flashing. But right now,
and those people there, I wonder if they know what's happening.
We have seen signs that there are people watching this, and we saw a couple of guys just a few minutes ago on an intersection that saw her going by and clearly, physically, waved and were excited about that. Those folks on that balcony might have been watching this as well, knowing that she's coming their way. So this has become a little bit of something. So there are a number of folks out there that are watching this pursuit.
Yeah, LAPD has units on the way. So LAPD Southeast units, I believe, are actually making their way over here. Like I said a minute ago, it seems like it's taking forever, but they are aware of this. They are watching this live on ABC7, and they are clearly aware of her movements, and they are trying to get units into position here as she continues to hustle towards 100th Street. She's got the phone still in her hand, a backpack and another bag as she starts to pick up the pace once again here down Compton Avenue. And again, not venturing into any private property. She's sticking with a public sidewalk, which tells me that she's not really making a big effort to hide. She's had plenty of opportunities to hide in a way that we would never find her and law enforcement would lose track of her. That's not the situation here. But what I am curious to see is, as this pursuit starts to go viral on the internet, at what point do we start to see other people?
Look,
there's somebody right there with a phone.
Shooting video of her.
There are already people,
Yeah.
that, just as I was saying that, there are already pedestrians on the street there, well aware of this woman who is just walking through the neighborhood, and they know she's up to no good. So
But now she's on
this is
private
now
property.
public knowledge. I'm sorry, Giovanna. Go ahead.
She's on private property now.
She is now in an apartment. Yeah, she's in an apartment complex. Looks like a parking. Yeah, these are two apartment buildings. She's in between the two, and CHP with eyes on her here. We'll see if she.
She might have ducked in
She
somewhere.
might have walked into one of these parking garages
Yeah.
or one of these carports. I don't think she came out the other side. They lost her. They lost her inside, in between these two apartment buildings.
She could have knocked
I'm
on
being told-
someone's door,
She
right?
might just be
Easily.
hanging out in the shade. That's a parking garage right there. So
Yeah.
she might be hanging in there.
These
They're
are-
all
But you,
watching
look at these
her.
people. See, these people know exactly who she is.
Oh, yeah, they're all
and
pointing out.
everybody is watching on their phone here, trying to catch a glimpse. They're watching online. They're trying to record it. But she is somewhere in this vicinity, and they are now in a position, now that she's on foot, they should be able to lock down this apartment complex, or at least this one square block. However, it's been at least 5 minutes. Maybe I'm losing track of time, maybe even more, and we still see no sign of LAPD. We know they're on the way, but right now, no sign of LAPD, as this woman has more and more time to hide, whether she's just getting some shade or taking a rest. Like you said, David, good possibility there. She could just take a breather inside the carport undercover and wait this out.
She could be hiding under a car, and we don't know what the strategy is for law enforcement. They may know who she is. A lot we don't know yet.
Well, behavior alone, she's still a threat. She could be dangerous, and now she's hanging out in this property here. We don't know where she is or if she's trying to get into somebody's place. And there's a CHP helicopter that's been watching her as well. They know where she is. There's an approximation at least, and from that they could track her down. But to state the obvious, the good news is she jumped out of the car. That's when she was the most dangerous.
That's when she
Far
was the
less
most
dangerous now.
Right, exactly right. I don't think they know who she is, because for all of this pursuit, they've been referring to her as a he. And so I think they were just as surprised when she stepped out of the vehicle. This was a stolen vehicle, a stolen Kia Soul. Not sure where it was stolen. But her actions here, well, you're right, David. I mean, she's really, now that car is abandoned, she is not a threat, not as much of a threat anyways, as she was earlier. And now there is a belief that she is indeed hiding out in that carport, likely the one on the right there, but I'm not sure. There's two buildings there with two separate carports, and she is somewhere in this vicinity.
Yeah, and it's possible that all of these pedestrians we're seeing are calling 911 and letting authorities know that she is at that property.
Is this guy talking to somebody? I don't see anybody he's talking to. Is it possible that somebody's over there?
He's
hiding
talking
in
to
those
somebody.
He's talking to somebody.
He's
Or
talking to
looking
somebody.
for her.
Oh, maybe he's just
Yeah.
talking into
I'm
his
sorry.
phone while he's looking for her.
Got it. Yeah, we're going to try and come around the other side here, see who's on the other side of that fence. He was talking to somebody. I don't know if it's her, but he was talking to somebody near that dumpster. And who knows at this point if she's, I mean, it's just impossible to see. We can't tell, exactly where she is, but he appeared to be communicating with somebody behind that fence.
Yeah. Well, this has really been a fascinating pursuit. I mean, we took it with some question
Front of
as
the building.
to...
Front of the building. All right, somebody's got
something?
eyes on her in the
Okay.
front of the building. That's going to be the California Highway Patrol helicopter, who has made eyes on the suspect
Could
She has
have
apparently changed clothes.
Yeah,
She's changed
she changed clothes.
Oh, same clothes. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Same clothes. She's in the same. I'm sorry. I'm getting conflicting information. She's in the same clothes now, and hopefully we'll catch a glimpse of her here on the front of the building. Look at the crowd that's starting to gather here. There's somebody with their phone out. She's in a doorway.
Are they pointing at something?
People are pointing at her, but
Or are they trying to get the attention of the
no sign of any law enforcement here. I just have to
Yeah,
reiterate,
that's
what we're
curious.
watching here is going on closer to 10 minutes now, where there is no sign of law enforcement. We heard that LAPD Southeast units were on the way out here, but quite frankly, guys, I can't tell you I'd be surprised if they just abandon this. It's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they are very quick to let these go. If there's not an immediate danger to the public, and
we
they
don't know
don't feel
that.
like it's
I
worth,
mean,
they have. We don't know that, but they have other business. They have other calls coming in. 911 ringing off the hook left and right. If a woman who's no longer in that stolen vehicle is just walking around South LA, it becomes a here they come. LAPD Southeast units. I'm sorry, Highway Patrol and LAPD. LAPD and CHP, two separate black and whites, now pulling up to this apartment building. And if they can get eyes on her, they'll be in a better position here. Otherwise, they're going to need more units to lock down this area and try and corner her. But at least there are units here. CHP and LAPD both responding out here to the end of this pursuit.
But look at how casually everyone else is walking around. That makes me a little nervous. I don't know.
Hopefully they can help direct them to where they think she is. I just kind of, I kind of think that she still should be seen as a threat, because when it comes to her behavior during the driving, and also who knows what her mental state is, and if she's now trying to hang out in somebody's private property, trying to hide out, that could be tricky. So he's going to go check this out.
So he's moving a little quicker. Maybe he sees something, maybe he doesn't. He's definitely spoken to a few witnesses down there, and now you see that CHP officer heading back down that alleyway in the same direction that we were trying to find her earlier. So somewhere in between these buildings here, somebody has made eyes on her, and as far as we could tell, she hasn't moved over to a different property. I think she's probably still hiding out near this parking garage. I imagine if we stay here long enough, this officer will eventually bring her back out to the street if he finds her. But yeah, you can see the crowd here. Everybody over here seems to be well aware of who she is, just based on what they're seeing on their phones and online.
Yeah. I'm just so curious to see where she is, or if she actually was able to get into somebody's home from underneath there. And there's probably a lot of places that she could be hiding as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hiding spots here. She is on private property, so she is trespassing. But again, when we talk about those petty crimes, was that the officer?
Yeah, it looked like he was looking around the back of the other building.
He's looking around. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, most of when you talk about some of the all of the traffic infractions and the trespassing charge, I mean, these are all relatively petty misdemeanors relative to the actual theft of the automobile. But other than that, guys, it's going to be probably a mental health situation at the end of the day. But right now, you can see there's an LAPD officer in front, a CHP officer in the back. They are trying to track her down.
Yeah, this could be something that takes a while. So I don't know if there are other units showing up, or if it's going to be left to these two officers to kind of assess and get out. But I hope everybody in that apartment building can at least assess their own property, so they know that she's not intruding on them, because there's law enforcement right there that can help out if she is.
All right, so I'm being told that CHP may have her. The officer, the CHP officer who was walking through there, may have her. Whether he has the right person is yet to be, yet to be seen here. Nope, there he is. He's coming back out empty-handed here. So we had heard a report that CHP possibly had somebody in custody, but now you can see him coming around the building here, talking into his radio. He's got his hand on his weapon and still trying to find her, now perhaps possibly inside this building.
Oh, he's
Additional
running in.
CHP officers running in there now.
Okay.
Private security, LAPD, CHP, all walking through that doorway. Maybe they have eyes on her, but we did have a report just a few seconds ago that CHP possibly had somebody in custody.
Okay, so this is coming close. I guess it's reassuring to see that they are quickly moving, so that it looks like that they at least know an approximation of where she might be. Somebody might have told them where she is, and then so they're quickly running to where that is. Hopefully they'll get her. More
LAPD units pulling in here. You can see them continuing. Backup now arriving, going through that doorway. Again, I want to just kind of caution, even though we have a report that somebody's in custody, many of these situations sometimes end up with a mistaken identity because the officers on the ground don't have as clear a description as we do. We've been watching her for the last however many minutes, so we know exactly what she looks like. But those officers on the ground may, maybe rounding up some people who they have, a suspicion of, but not positive identity. So we'll see. They may have somebody in custody. We'll see if it's the right woman, presumably inside the building, as we've seen now a number of officers walk through that doorway.
Yeah, and perhaps the local security guard. I think you mentioned there was local security there. Maybe they.
It looked like a private. There was somebody in a white shirt that looked like private security. We know we saw LAPD go in there and several CHP officers. So I'm getting more reports that we are getting confirmation now. Somebody is in custody. I think we'll find out here in short order whether it is indeed the right suspect, but somebody is being taken into custody as we speak.
Right. And obviously authorities don't believe that she is dangerous, maybe that she's not armed, because they're allowing people to walk around. They're not establishing a perimeter to protect people. They're not telling people to stand back. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. I think they want to keep the crowd back for sure. They obviously have a better idea now. They're focusing on that doorway. So
the crowd is largely.
I'm sure they are keeping people away. We don't see that crime scene being established just yet. But at the end of the day, again, they're gonna, if they do indeed find her, it won't exactly be a large crime scene. They will take her into custody and figure out what the situation is. But they are calling in for backup. There is a little bit of crowd control. They want to keep people back just in case things go sideways. Absolutely, Giovanna. But it does appear from everything we're hearing that somebody is being taken into custody, and now you can see that LAPD officer in a much more relaxed stance in front of the building,
and here she goes.
Some more residents coming out here. Again, a lot of commotion. You have a number of helicopters overhead, a number of law enforcement vehicles surrounding the building, and so any second now, I think we'll have our answer. But it does indeed seem like they do indeed have her.
All right, so we're debating on whether to stay with this and and see the moment they pull her out, or we need to move on to other news. Here come some more officers.
Are you still with me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to tell you, we're getting some more information from our assignment desk that they are giving the code 4. So the suspect is in custody. They are on the second floor of that apartment building.
Interesting.
But they are calling for an ambulance.
Okay.
So the condition of that suspect is now very much in question. What happened on that second floor, again, very much in question, as the suspect appears to require immediate medical attention. They are waiting for that ambulance now. That explains the delay here, but units are now converging on the second floor of that building right there, but they do have confirmation that that pursuit suspect is indeed in custody. They have issued the code 4, just waiting for an ambulance.
Right.
Okay.
So some unanswered questions.
Thank
Maybe
you.
she penetrated somebody's apartment, but we'll find out as we wait there. And I think what we're going to do is move on to
Yes.
another